But I want to kind of kick off the talk and talk a little bit about where people get stuck in um, their health routines and taking it to the next level. For me, I would say the biggest piece for me where I get stuck is from 6 to 9 p.m. Because I don't understand why I get so hungry from the hours of 6 to 9 p.m. And I only want junk food during those times. But so the mindset that as I'm walking into this program is how can I kind of stay more disciplined? And so my first question is, where do people get stuck typically, and how do you help them get unstuck when it comes to the discipline of sticking to the program?
Yeah, John, thanks so much for having me on the podcast. I really appreciate it.
Yeah,
And really excited for you on your journey. That's
yeah,
awesome. It's cool when people make an investment into themselves, especially in their health. And a lot of times, that's the last place that people invest is in their health, right? So um, I think, like for business owners and entrepreneurs, if you can invest in your health earlier, you can get more years out of your career. And
yeah,
if you're trying to do something like really special, like in your career, a lot of guys, and it's fine, it's super fine. They're go hard and make as much money as they can and sell to PE or sell the business and retire or get on to the next thing. But if you find something truly special that you love doing, you probably want to do it for as long as you can, and you want to do it at as high a level as you
yeah.
can. And so, yeah, I'm congrats on that. So yeah,
So
um,
thank you. So let's talk about that because I think people get stuck on what you just said, not only in what you do, but also many things, whether it's investing in a business coach, whether it's investing in anything to be proactive, preventative, however you look at it. I think sometimes people look at things as an expense versus an investment. And so to your point, somebody could come into your services, to my services and say, wow, that's a lot of money. That's a big expense versus, hey, this is an investment in myself and the results will be. So let's talk for a second, getting people unstuck when it comes to shifting from the expense side of things to the investment. Just kind of talk about that as far as the results, because I've talked to people who've done your program for 90 days or longer, but specifically 90 days. And it's really a transformative result. And so, can you talk about that so people can kind of see with some close proximity what the results will be, to what the ROI on the investment will be for themselves if they're disciplined?
sure. Our tagline is 3 years of results in 3 months. So the only thing you don't really get more of unless you invest in your health is time.
Yeah,
So what we really try to help people buy is their time back. And so you have time, energy, attention span, and resources. And most of us are um, obsessed with collecting resources.
yeah,
And later we can buy those other things, but um, I think it's almost a bit backwards. So I've always been a big fan of investing in myself. My mentor was the most successful strength coach in the world, and that's who I learned from. And I remember paying him when I made $27,000 in 2012 when I started my business, and I was working a lot of hours and getting the business off the ground. But I remember I invested $1,000 for an hour consult with him, and in that hour consult, he made me $30,000 3 months later. And that consult gave me the knowledge to make hundreds of thousands of dollars over a period of time. So, like what I was doing is I was buying time and I was buying his experience. And but I've invested hundreds of thousands of dollars into coaching. I have two business coaches right now. A lot of people know Strategic Coach and Dan Sullivan. I'm a part of that group. It's been his books have made a big difference in the way I think and how I manage my time. And then I also belong to Vistage, Michigan. Here in Joe Sadler's my chair, and I've just gotten so much benefit out of the coaching. And when I started investing in business coaching about 3 years ago, because I didn't really know what I was doing. I mean, I'd been in business for almost a decade, but I didn't really know what I was doing. We've 4x'd our company in
Yeah,
the last 3 years, and it's
great.
so yeah. And I've invested in a lot of things that made me no money at all, or were a waste of time. But it just takes time. You find the right things, and then it's you get 3x, 5x, 100x return on that investment. So
Yeah.
yeah,
So I did strategic coach for a year. I loved it, and I have read almost all of Dan Sullivan's books.
nice.
I think he has some new ones. I think his books are incredible. One of my favorites, Think Community, is Who Not How, which I
Yeah,
think is it's just an absolute brilliant book. But I literally went through kind of like a reading frenzy where I downloaded them all on Audible and just listened to them over the course of 6 weeks.
yeah,
And Vistage, I think, is a great organization. I speak at Vistage a lot. And I think it's a great organization of like minds. And what I love about that organization is everybody's so open to sharing ideas. And they've been great to me. I love speaking at Vistage.